Hi, I'm trying to make the pizza crust today. I made a pizza and showed you the sauce in another video, but this will be the crust. So what I start off with is about 25 ounces of water. 24, it's probably like a 2.5 cups. And I'm going to start with what we call a pouliche, which is like a starter, not sourdough because you don't leave it in there for 2 or 3 days, but I usually make it and then finish it the next day, so overnight, and it creates a lot of bubbles and air, and that actually letting yeast work that long gives the dough much more flavor, theoretically. So anyway, to the water. Now my mom always said you have to use warm water so you can activate the yeast. But then what I learned was yeast is already active. The key is not to kill the yeast, and that's why you don't put the water too hot. But you can use lukewarm water, and then just the action of kneading with your fingers warms the dough and helps to stimulate that. Anyway, so what I do is I usually add about 5 teaspoons of the actual yeast, or about 2 packages. And I do a nice squirt of honey as a starter to help get that so I know it's active and bubbly and foaming and beautiful. So I'm just squeezing honey in. The honey is good for the flavor anyway. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm just videoing myself, aren't I? I always do this. Okay, there we go. So there's the yeast, the honey, and the water, and I'm just gonna stir that and try to get that incorporated so all the yeast has some honey to feed on. And then I'm gonna give it at least 5 minutes, and I'll come back and we'll take a look. Oh, the yeast is blossoming. Oh my gosh, I just saw it's like coming up like blooms. I just now can you see it? Now I'm going to video this and nothing's going to blossom or bloom. But you see how it's foamy on top? That means that it's working. I'm trying to wait until I see more bloom on top. Where is it? Of course, as soon as I turn this on. You see the nice little foam cap. That means that the yeast is working and happy. I think there might be something here. My dog killed a mouse today. It was a rat or a mouse. It's gross. He didn't eat him. He just licked him. He chews everything. I'm surprised he didn't chew his mouse. Okay. Staring, waiting. As soon as I turn this off, it's gonna bloom some more. Okay, here we go. We have some of our foam on the top. That means our yeast is going to down. That's good. Now what I'm going to do is take some of my flour. It's the 00 type. That's the pizza flour. And I'm going to probably put in, I don't know, maybe a cup. I don't want it to be a dough, but I want there to be some. Just stir this and mix this up. I might add just a bit more. So what I'm gonna do is really just stir this up, cover it with plastic wrap, and let it sit overnight. And when I come back, it'll have nice and beautiful little bubbles all over the top. And it'll be elastic and stringy, and then I can finish my dough. Okay. Okay, we're back. Here's my pouliche. There's bubbles in it. It's been sitting there since yesterday. I hope that worked. I've been stirring up all the bubbles and stirring them out. But now it's time to finish it. So I'm just going to put more flour in. And you could really put in like a cup or 2 at a time. I don't measure. I just kind of stir and I add. Just do it gradually until you see it come together in a soft kind of sticky mass of dough. So this is better, but there's still not coming together. So add some more. Probably almost there. There's a couple of things I needed to add, actually. Let me go get those. Can't believe I almost forgot. 1, 2, and 3. What do you know? I almost forgot. Okay. Quarter cup of olive oil. And I like to use the extra virgin olive oil that's first cold pressed. You see how it looks green? It's olive colored. That's delicious. And I will also add, what is this doing? About 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon of honey. I'm talking on my video, bub. Yeah. He's on the phone, I think. Or he's talking to his sister. Let's see. Probably good. Okay. So. I want to add all of that yummy goodness. Okay, so I will keep mixing. That looks nice now, doesn't it? Ugh. It's still not quite the dough I wanted, so I will add more. And I think it's probably ready to pull out onto the counter to knead. So let's give it a sprinkle. Okay. See, it's just about forming a nice dough. I'm going to try to get the rest of this in here, out of here. Okay. So when I start to knead it, I start doing this. It sticks to everything. I'm gonna need more flour. But when I'm kneading it, I'll just start folding it like this so that it doesn't stick all over my fingers more than it has to. So you just fold it over. And as I'm doing that, I'm incorporating some of this flour to finish solidifying that dough. Okay. It's coming along nicely. I need more flour. Hang on. Okay, so here's, is that a flake of something? I don't know. So I'm gonna put more flour. So unsophisticated here. Okay, so it's not quite as sticky. Now I can probably knead it the regular way, which is with the palm of my hand. Push, oop, and fold over. I like to fold over a couple of times and get flour all over my shirt. Add one more. So pull. Do a little more. So I have this pretty here with the palm of my hand. Actually pull it away from you, fold it, and then fold it. Turn it on its side. It feels half sticky, so I'm gonna add more flour. Pull away, fold, fold. So I'm going to keep doing this for a couple minutes. Actually, one thing I need to do, and I like adding this at the end because I don't want it to affect my yeast, is salt. So I usually put a little more than a tablespoon in there. A tablespoon and a third, half. And actually what I'll do is I'll just knead this in to incorporate it. I'm always worried about adding this too soon and actually killing the yeast. I don't know if I've actually done it, but I don't want to do it. So I'm going to incorporate the rest of this salt into the dough as I'm kneading it, and I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. See, it's not sticky looking. And if I just do this, it springs right back. So that's how I know it's been kneaded well. Okay, next step is to take this bowl and oil it. Same olive oil. Take that crust, dough, I should say dough, it's not crust yet. See? Now I just smear it around the bottom, spread some on top. What am I getting? I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a piece of parsley. I know. Anyway. Okay, and then I just cover this with plastic wrap. So I cover it like this. I will usually take a washcloth, cover the top like this, or a hand towel, and then I'm just gonna let it sit for a couple of hours while it rises. When it's about doubled in size, punch it down, cover it back up, let it rise one more time, and then it's ready to use. Look, it's rising. Okay, ready, punch. Okay, let it fall. You give it another little, what? It's still falling. You wanna give another little punch? Okay.
Yeah.
Good, and we'll cover it back up and wait for it to rise again.